Hello, this is Paul here, and now I'm going to cover some basic trig functions. And trigonometry comes from the Greek words for triangle and measuring. So trigo or trigon, I guess, is triangle, and metry is the measure of. So trigonometry is the measure of triangles. And you get all kinds of functions as seen there, but what we're basically worried about is just the basic triangle and the unit circle type stuff. But we'll get to that, and the focus will be on the slope function. In this case, they're using t rather than theta, but normally it's angle theta or angle alpha or something. But it's a picture I could find real quick that gives you an idea. X, Y, and curve. And then this arc here would be the circumference of the unit circle, and that would be radians. And if you had a percentage of the unit circle, I guess that's quaternary or something. But we'll not delve into that too much. So basically, started out in another one where we did some Boolean stuff, and we came up with the square, or the start of Boolean stuff. We get procedural stuff, and came up with a way to move a square on UV coordinates. Just simple. And of course, you can plug in textures like. Now all of a sudden you've got weird. So it doesn't matter that it's what it is. It's just colors, you know. So you can do all kinds of funky stuff that way. But I'm finding that it's a little trickier to get the angles in there from nothing, so I am going to start from scratch, and I am going to make a new node group. So I can just clear that one out. Probably want the texture coordinates, and that's fine there. So let's break up the texture coordinates. So converter, separate x, y, z, like so, and then we'll want, what is it, converter math. And I'm just going to throw in a mix RGB. Mix RGB. Just make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to make it white is the 0 function, and why not red this time? Sure, that'll be visibly strong for the 1 output. And we'll start again with the greater than, less than, like we did before. Greater than. So if x is greater than 0.5, then it will be red. Or you could do it less than. Yeah, let's do less than starting out with. So x is less than 0.5, it will be red. But let's see if we do a slope function, and if you compare x and y, if x is less than y, it will be red. So you can do slope like that, or multiply. And if we multiply y by a value, we can get, see that? If we do greater than. So when you're comparing x and y in this case, you're getting a slope. So when x is greater than y, it'll be red. If x is less than y, red. Like that. So that's a kind of slope function. And what we can do is less than and greater than. Oops. Yeah. Multiply that. And then so we are getting a slope. So we can make a line at an angle. This. Oh, am I doing it right? Oh, I know why I'm doing it. Like this. There. Here we go. So now we have a kind of slope function, right? And it's starting from the 0 point, which is at the corner. So we can go a slope of 0, will go off into space, and eventually it will reduce down. But it's a type of slope function. I thought I'd just show that x and y. So you can determine the slope of a line, or the stripe in this case. Since we're only using x and y, I'll hide that stuff. So now we got that kind of set up. How does this trigonometry come into play, right? I mean, or separate x, y, z. Put that back. I don't know why I had that selected, but yeah. So where are we? Anyway, I'm trying to remember stuff because I'm not so great at remembering some of this stuff. We want x and y, so we want the sine and cosine in relation to the slope. For sine and cosines, only have two outputs. So I'm just going to narrow down the nodes real quick. There. Any more than that. Like so. So we have the sine and cosine. And then that, add, subtract. And internally, Blender does its angles in radians. So we're also going to need a converter. And to convert degrees to radians, let's see, multiply. So we'll take an input value and multiply it by pi divided by 180. And that will convert degrees to radians. I'm just going to rename this to yeah. So basically converts degrees to radians, and I'm just going to temporarily connect it so and we can hide the other thing. Control hide and toggle node options there. So all this does is convert degrees to radians now. And we can set its default at 0 for now. Alright. Degrees to radians. We take the sine and cosine of that. And we need to multiply. 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 And we're going to do the run and the rise. Normally it's rise over run, but you know. So the rise is the sine and the run is the cosine. So cosine of the angle multiplied by the run. Rise the angle multiplied by the sine, and you add them, and that will output a new slope. So let's do that less than greater than thing. Yeah, I know it's a little tricky here. So let's do 7.5. It's going to be red, so then we go that, and now we put that in a factor. This is an angle of 0, so let's test it out, and I'm going to change the angle. And seems like it's a little bit backwards in angle, but it is measuring an angle like a 45. It is a 45, but it's really backwards from the way I'm used to seeing it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just invert the value. So we'll multiply by -1. And we'll just invert the value. I'm used to going clockwise, I guess that's why. So, yeah. Alright. We're only using X and Y on yours. Square net. Y, and now I will do X, I believe. I believe you reverse them and subtract them for the other way around. So this will be sine, and this one will be cosine, and then you subtract these two. And I am going to make this into a node group real quick. So what is it? Yeah. This one, that one, that one, that one. 1, 2, 3, 6. And well, I'm going to leave that off, but I'm going to group it. Alright. And oddly enough, it's grouped in a way that doesn't keep the values together. So I'm just going to break all this off. 2 of these we don't need. So we only need rise and run for an input. So, but I'm going to do run first and then rise. It's easier. So, and will also be run on the output. This will be rise. So we're doing slope, remember? So it's not x or y or whatever. And we also need angle. Inputting an angle value, so. So. Run goes here. Goes here, I believe, and the rise goes here and down there, if I remember right. Okay, and then bring this back over here. Like so, and the angle input goes over here like so. And I think that is it, I guess. So, let's exit out of this. I'm going to rename this node group slope angle, I guess. There, slope angle is the node group. So now if we control the slope, we have an angle like so. Alright. So now we can do Shift D and greater than. And I'm going to multiply so we have that range. And yeah, now we have a angle. So you can see it is offset. So that's how you can get an angle like that. So we are building a new square from scratch that respects this angle. So let's use add. Let's offset where the origin is. And let's make this value. Start out with 0. 0, 0. Add a value to 0. And subtract a value from 0. And make this 1. Alright, so now we have a stripe. This value controls the width of the stripe. And the way I did it is a little different than the other one because we're trying to keep it centered. So this will be width for now. And we can control the angle. How about that? So now we can control the angle of the dangle on the stripe. And this is the offset of the X and Y. You could probably change that to subtract, given the way the coordinates work. So now we have an angle, and we can control the offset of the angles. Alright. So, all of this here, 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 there, and the width. So all of these are for widths. Let's make this a square. Copying all of that. Let's change this one to height. And now instead of multiplying by the run, we're multiplying by the rise. So one over there. Let's see if I did that right when I wired it up. And multiply. Now we have a square. And it's got to be the Y position, X position. Let's change the height of the square. And let's play with the angle. So angle of 0 is straight up. And 90 is sideways. Okay. Alright. So now we have a square we can rotate. That was the main point of showing all this. And let's put all this into one big function, like we did with the other square. But now we got one we can turn and change the angle. All of that. And if you can figure it out, a challenge for you is to make a triangle with stuff you learned from the previous Boolean processes and how the angles work on here with the stripes. So I think you could figure that out if you take notes while I'm showing you this. And now we're going to make this into a new node group. So all of that, I believe. And let's make a node group. So group it down like so. What do we want exposed? We want X and Y position. So this will be position. This will be Y position. And we want the width and height. So how do we do that? Oh, I guess we can oh, not like that, like this. There. So this will be width. Let's be weird. Let's be there. And height. So this is width. position, y position, width and height. And of course, now we have angle. So let's put that in there. And of course, cool, it carried over. On here, we want to bypass the vector, so add a layout, reroute, and over here. Just organizing it now. This will be our vector bypass like we did before. I'm going to move it up so it's on top. And we want vector. So just like pull one. And we want two colors. So, I believe this is it. This is the new node group for a square that can do angles. All of that. Keep in mind we have a slope angle converter. And of course you can make it a little neater, and like I said, there's ways to organize it. You don't have to. So, tab out, and now we have all these inputs. It should be hitting. Yeah. Width and height has to be a value other than 0. They're not going negative for width and height. So I'm going to change those to absolute values. Just because. So width and height. This is one. And I'm going to add function add converter math absolute. There. Like so. Now, as long as the width and height are non-zero, it doesn't matter if they're positive or negative. I'm sure there might be a reason or two why you might want to have a negative, but it's technically still going to be positive, and now we can control the angle. And the X and Y offsets. No. Do I need the... Maybe I didn't need the inversion here. Where is it? Yeah, I guess I didn't need to invert the angle. Okay. So there's 30 degrees. There's 45. Of course, 90. Alright. And you can, of course, plug in stuff like checker texture. And you can do stuff like that. Should be obvious enough. Alright. So you want to add another one. Now you can do... Oh, I had a vector. You can control the angles. So you can do even more weird stuff. And this is all just procedural textures. You can make like country flags and stuff like that, or that was one of the things I did on a Blender Artist. Just as a funny thing, made different flags and stuff just using procedural textures, just to show what can be done. Alright, enough dragging this out. You get the idea. You can use some really basic trig stuff, and now you have angles for your for your sections that you've created with the Boolean stuff. So that's the start of something. I think next time I'll do selectivity with the Boolean functions in procedural materials, which you can make like toggles or switches, like selector switches. So you'll have numbers, and then you can have it fall into the range of these numbers, and then it'll toggle which one is on and off depending on which range it is. That should be pretty simple, so, but I'll still follow it in another video. Alright, that's it for now.